Hi guys! You've heard me talk about the NPLEX board exam a few times, but in this video I'm actually going to go over what it is and how you prepare for it. First of all, NPLEX stands for Naturopathic Physicians Licensing Examinations. And these are the exams that you'll need to take in order to become a licensed naturopathic doctor. There are two exams, the NPLEX 1 and NPLEX 2. And since I only took the NPLEX 1 exam, that is what I'm going to talk about in this video. I'll talk about the NPLEX 2 exam next year after I take it. The NPLEX board exam is offered twice a year. So once in February and once in August, and it's administered by the North American Board of Physicians Examiners. You take the NPLEX 1 board exam right after your second year, and you just apply online at their website, and it costs $475. After you apply, they send you an email confirmation, and they also send you like this blueprint study guide. Definitely look over that because that's going to explain what you need to know for the NPLEX 1 board exam. In the blueprint, they actually suggest study strategies for you to tackle the NPLEX 1 board exam. So I'm going to read those off first real quick, and then we'll get into the details about the exam and the best resources to use for studying. Alright, so first one says to familiarize yourself with the NPLEX competencies early in your naturopathic training. Take the NPLEX 1 right after the end of your second year. Review early. Spend 6 to 8 hours a day studying the months before the exam is administered. Spend more time on weak areas within the competencies for each body system. For example, starting with anatomy of the cardiovascular system if that's something you are not very good with. Familiarize yourself with testing format and procedures. Expect the exam to be challenging and approach the exam with a positive attitude. Alright, so here we go. You really only need 1 month of studying or review for the NPLEX 1 exam. There are some people I know that actually started studying in January when they were going to take it in August. And whatever floats your boat, I guess you could start that early, but honestly, you only need 1 month of really focused hardcore studying. So let's talk about the exam itself. The exam is comprised of 200 multiple choice questions. It's taken 1 day and it's 5 hours long. The first session is in the morning and it's 2.5 hours long, and you'll get 100 multiple choice questions, and then you get a lunch break, and then you'll go back for another 2.5 hours and you'll take the second section with another 100 questions. The NPLEX 1 board exam is only focused on the biomedical sciences. So there are two general areas. The first one is structure and function, and this includes anatomy, biochemistry, and genetics, and physiology. And the second is disease and dysfunction, and this includes your immunology, microbiology, and your pathology. You need to pass both areas. If you don't pass both, you have to retake the whole thing, even if you pass one section. And like I said in my other videos, that's what happened to me the first time. For the exam, there are actually competencies and conditions that you need to know, and this is all listed in the blueprint. And for each body system, they show a percentage next to it so that you know how many questions for each body system will comprise the NPLEX exam. For cardiovascular, 12%. Then you have your musculoskeletal, neurological, those are 10%, and reproductive and urinary are also 10% each. Pulmonary and upper respiratory tract is 8%. Immunological system is also 8%. And then hematopoietic system and integumentary system are each 6%. Oh, and endocrine is 8%. That kind of helps you divvy up the body systems and know which you need to spend more time on and which not so much. As for competencies are things that you need to know for each body system, kind of give you the foundation. And this includes your biomedical sciences, so like the biochemistry of the cardiovascular system or the anatomy of the endocrine system, things like that. And then you have conditions for each body system that you need to know, and there are a lot of those. Okay, study resources. First of all, keep it simple. Don't go overboard and start buying all these books and study guides and whatever to help you study for the NPLEX 1 board exam. You don't need all that. There are only two that I would absolutely recommend. USMLE First Aid Step 1, and then the Dr. Paul Anderson's videos for NPLEX 1. Those are going to be the best ones to study for. If you just use those two, you will be set, honestly. You should really do practice questions for this exam. This is something I didn't really do the first time that I took the NPLEX board exam, and I think if I had just done practice questions more, I would have probably started them sooner, like maybe 3 months before or 2 months before the exam. BoardVitals is a really good website. They actually have naturopathic specific questions for the NPLEX board exam. Also, Wild Brilliance Press makes practice exams for for the NPLEX board exams, and those are really good to use. If you don't want to buy one, your library will probably have one that you could borrow, so that'll save you some money. And lastly, YouTube videos. I used YouTube videos when I didn't really understand something and reading it wasn't enough for me to comprehend. So I would go to YouTube and find a video for better clarification of whatever I was kind of like confused about. For example, Armando Hasidungan, I don't know if I'm saying his last name right, but he has a really good channel. And then also I found Dirty USMLE when I was studying for the NPLEX I board exam the second time, and that was really useful as well. So when I took the NPLEX board exam the second time, I kind of took a different approach to it. First of all, make a study schedule. Like I said, you don't really need to study like months before the exam. 1 month will be enough. You have to keep in mind that when you're taking the exams, whether it's in August or February, you also have classes that you're taking that you also need to study for. So you really need to manage your time well. 6 to 8 hours a day of studying for the board exam. I don't know if you can do that honestly because you're also taking classes. I don't personally remember the amount of hours that I spent studying each day. I think it varied because I tried to do 2 body systems a day, and the amount of information that you needed to know for that varied. So of course, like maybe I spent like 4 hours or a couple hours, it all depended, but the weekends was the time that I was definitely able to catch up. Start with your weakest areas. Anatomy was my weakest area, and even microimmuno was weak too, so I started with those 2 first. I started looking over those probably a week before I actually started studying hardcore for the exam. Another thing was I reviewed micro and immuno every night. Trying to remember the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria isn't the easiest. It didn't matter what I was studying that day, every night, or at least I tried to every night, review micro and immuno. And that's why I really love the USMLE diagram for the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, because I feel like that was really useful. So I would look over those, and then I would try to remember all the gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria by writing it out on a piece of paper without looking. So this brings me to another technique that I used was handwriting everything. I didn't type anything for this. And I actually just reviewed everything that I hand wrote when I took it the first time, and I just watched Dr. Paul Anderson's videos while I was looking at my notes and highlighting things and making notes of what he said. And I mentioned this before in another video, but I get test anxiety, like really bad. So I was making sure to take my adaptogenic herbs and cognitive support supplements, and I also decided to try acupuncture. I think that really helped me a lot because when I went into the exam, I was really calm. Before, when I first took it, like I was super nervous and I just had really like negative thoughts about the exam, thinking that I failed and wasn't able to do it. But this time I went in and I was so positive and I wasn't like freaking out or nervous at all. So that was really good. Okay guys, I hope this video helped you out. If you are about to take your NPLEX I board exam for the first time this summer, good luck to you. You're gonna do great. If you liked my video, hit the thumbs up below. And if you're liking my channel and wanna stay up to date, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well. Bye guys.